Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you for returning and your continued support, you guys. I appreciate it. We're moving our way around the zodiac, the wheel here, and we are in house 4, the house of Cancer, the 4th house, the house of family, ancestry, heritage, roots, early foundations and environment, mother, caretakers, and cyclic end of matters. Okay, the end of cyclic things. So house of Cancer. So you may have Cancer in your chart, and this may or may not resonate with you, but even if you don't have Cancer in your chart, you still have a 4th house. So remembering that, we are going to go ahead and go down to the singing bowl, and then I'll get into the reading, you guys. These have been running about an hour. You can skip past the singing bowl, but then we'll get into the reading. We're using a few new decks here, and I'm doing a different spread. So we're gonna it's a life purpose kind of spread to help you kind of move into your life purpose if it resonates with you. So let's go down to the singing bowl, and then we'll get to the reading for Cancer. Thank you, Spirit, for your guidance, protection, and unconditional love. I'm grateful for all known and unknown, seen and unseen, divine energy, guiding, allowing, and protecting us as we receive these messages with an open heart and mind. I pray these messages reach those who need them and those who will fully embrace and express their own divine energy for the highest and most loving good. As we walk on the path of love, healing, and redemption, may your healing light touch, taint, and transmute all darkness with understanding, acceptance, and faith in the holy light of love. Amen. Okay. All right, guys. Okay. Get that centered. All right. Okay. So this is a 5 card, and we're using the Tarot Oracle. It's a really, I do recommend getting this deck if you ever have a chance to get a nice animal deck. It just gives different sections so I will be reading these because this is a general reading, you guys. Each one of these may resonate with different people at different places in their process, and more than one may resonate. So, and it's really good. It's a wonderful book for these animal cards. Probably one of the best books. And I have quite a few decks, so that's saying something. All right, so this is going to be where the energy, where you're at right now here, Cancer. We're going to go ahead and just get a card for that, and then the second card is going to be where you're headed here. Third card is going to be the first step you need to take to get more in alignment with your passion, purpose, or place. And then the fourth card, the fourth card is going to be a strength you have or already are working with or need to work with more. And the 5th card will be the weakness or the soft spot, the thing that needs to be worked on, or the thing that's hindering movement forward or growth or whatnot. So let's go ahead and get this card for the center for Cancer. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. All right, guys. We got compassion at the center of this reading. Okay. Compassion. I love that. The manatee. Maybe needing to show more compassion towards yourself, towards others. Working on compassion here. Having compassion. Attaining compassion. I think most people, especially if you're watching these kind of videos, you're very compassionate. And then we got also where we're going here, messages with the hawk. So this is about receiving messages, listening to those messages you receive. This could be regarding something you need to be compassionate with, show compassion towards. This could be yourself, this could be others, could be a mix of both, you guys, all on this healing journey together. Let's go ahead and get step 1. And this is also, messages is about being clear too, about what you need. Maybe you need something in your life to be more compassionate, and you need to speak that. You need to, even if it's a little messy, it does get into the hawk eating, not being kind with its prey. It really doesn't give it a swift, fast death. So this could be being compassionate in the way you're sending messages out to, and maybe receiving messages, maybe wanting more compassion in what you're receiving. But also, I do look at this as spiritual guidance, messages from your highest self, divine, God, your angels, ancestors. And then we got inspiration. This is the next step, you guys, the first step here. Be inspired. Go with what is calling to you. Something here coming through in messages. Maybe there's something here with the well, and it's the blue well, and it reminds me of another oracle deck I have called the Well Song, and it's really about following that song in your heart. What's the strength here? Curiosity. Remaining curious about what the call is, what is inspiring you, what is leading you forward, what is calling your heart or calling your name forward. There's something here with really feeling something here. I'm feeling that with compassion, feeling this compassionate energy and following something that's kind of making you feel guided or inspired. This is the strength, is you're curious. So there's a curiosity here, and you also know what they say about the cat too. Curiosity killed the cat. So this could be, but it is in the strength position, so this is a good thing. It's a good thing to be curious about what's calling to you, what's inspiring you, what's lighting you up, and going towards the source. And this is feeling pretty spiritual right now. What is the weakness here? Indulgence. Okay. And then on the bottom, judgment. Okay, so right now it is feeling very important not to be greedy. This could be with anything. This could be with communication. This could be with something could be really inspiring you and making you want to move forward on something here. And there's also, I see this too with the indulgence in the weak spot. This can be addiction. This can be doing things that are unhealthy to avoid maybe this. It's like sharing what you have also with others, inspiring others also. I'm getting that. And like, what could that do? Like looking at all different things from different viewpoints with curiosity here, and being mindful that you affect the situation, or the role you play makes a difference. And not like overindulging, overdoing something. This could be overdoing anything, overdoing, even being overly curious or overly, we're going to get more on this. I'm going to pull a few, before we read out of that book, I'm going to pull a few tarot cards on this. Let's get more on the compassion here. And this is at the center of the reading, where you're at here. Having a lot of compassion, I feel like. Or, yeah, we got the Father of Pentacles. Okay, and then we got the 10 of Wands here. A lot of burdens here with this King of Pentacles. And then the Empress. Be more nurturing. Whatever this is, there's a need to be more compassionate and nurturing in this situation. Be more, yeah, don't take more than what you need. Be compassionate. This is, this could be with communication. This could just be with anything. Like if something's calling you or inspiring you to move towards it, moving towards it like step by step with moderation, not just like full-fledged ahead. This is about being grounded too and stable with the Father of Pentacles here. And this could also just be and releasing burdens. It feels like it's the end of carrying a lot of burdens here. This could be for you, this could be for somebody in your life, but there is a feeling here of needing to be more compassionate and nurturing, or that is what you're working on currently. And you will be receiving a lot of communication or messages about this. Let's see what these two are talking about here. We got, yes, the Father of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Okay, the Father of Cups, you guys. Need to be more listening, more understanding, more compassionate, more nurturing, and more emotional in a situation. Your heart's calling you to something here. And there is this curiosity or this drive to figure out what it is. And there's a feeling here of something needing to be balanced out. With like emotional maturity. This could be just putting in more effort, or something around having compassion about a situation that feels maybe unbalanced, or something. And then we got that Seven of Wands. Okay, so this is standing in your truth with conviction, and going towards what inspires you, what you're being drawn to. But it's also doing this in moderation too. It's like, no matter what's standing against you, know that there's something here calling you that I feel is good and right, but there's a need to be very mindful of the balance here. I'm not sure what this, and then we got the Ten of Swords on the bottom. So, and this is getting up from a very down place, and then we got these just releasing these burdens, and this also taking care of the self. This could be you needing to show more compassion, take care of yourself. It's the end of holding on to a lot of burdens. It does feel like there's some kind of maybe emotional unavailability here, like not being nurturing, or not being, this could be you, this could be somebody in your life, but that feels like there's an imbalance of equal give and take here. You could be putting in a lot. You could be putting in a lot. You could be overdoing it, or somebody else is overdoing it. And there's just this feeling here of something being you could be standing your ground on something here that and fiercely, because there's something here that is inspiring you and it's calling you forward. We are going to get some more on that, you guys, but I'm going to read these. We're going to read the compassion, and we're going to see which one, because I'm kind of getting a couple things with this. But this is general, so, it could resonate on different levels with different people. But there is a feeling here of needing to be more nurturing or compassionate. But yet still, like, know that no matter what you're facing, you have, like, the higher ground. And that could be it, too, like, you've already gotten yourself up from a place, and there's something calling you forward to kind of maybe help a situation, help balance a situation out, nurture something here, make something more stable, grounded, that you could be like a rock type energy, like it's feeling, like there's a need to not become imbalanced in what you're doing. Okay, so we got cruising along. This is the manatee, you guys, and it's compassion. And it's cruising along. Perhaps the most important word there is, compassion, is not just essential, but is the very breath of life. I love this because it is about understanding, you guys. Understanding where you've been, understanding where others are, allowing that space and that compassion, that nurturing, to guide you forward. Not, it feels like, maybe there's a misunderstanding or a not understanding of a situation here that needs to be more looked at from a less self place, more on the situation or whatever you're going through right now in a more compassionate way. There's something here requiring compassion. The manatee is a guide for compassion because it is an expert in the first steps, slowing down and stepping back. I was feeling that, like it could be really pushing or overdoing something or really pushing for something here. And because you're inspired, because you're feeling curious about what's to come, and that's just, you could be really going down rabbit holes, and you could be discovering a lot of things, and it could get you really excited, but there's something you need to slow down on here. It's some kind of process that's going on here. While the manatee could move faster, it prefers to simply cruise along ocean waters. This card is a sign that you need to take your foot off the gas and look around at where you are. Compassion occurs in simply being present and aware. And that's what I'm getting with this Father of Cups. He's there. He's not, he doesn't get sucked into the emotions of others, but he doesn't devalue them either. He is compassionate. He does understand. There may be a need to do that to the highest ability right now, is to sit and listen and to observe and to let emotions the storm kind of flow around you, and sit still, not make the move, not think, not bring yourself into it in a way that's just kind of stand there and know where you're at, and kind of there feels like something, something going on around here that's a process, and it might not even have anything to do with you. But it says compassion occurs in simply being present and aware, both for yourself and others. I was getting that. When you come to a stop, you might see that you have not been fully present. You need to take extra time now to experience compassion, even when it's challenging. That is this challenge to just stand there and, it almost feels like stand there and listen and let something be balanced out here. And it may be kind of even hard. This was in the Gemini reading too, hard to digest, or something hard to maybe go through. And you may feel like going within yourself, or becoming, you could overshop, overeat, you could want to numb, you could want to dive into something that's self-indulgent instead of being present in the moment. And really, so don't numb right now, you guys. Be very present in your emotions, be very present. Don't disregard what's going on around you. Show compassion, and put yourself in it, but not in it, if that makes sense. Be there very, very present, very, very. And something here could really inspire you. You could be really inspired too by something going on around you, that maybe if you find yourself in a self kind of absorbed place, or a self-indulgent place, you may miss it. You may miss some kind of opportunity here to grow more in your compassionate nature, or to balance something out here in your life. Being compassionate, this is called murky waters, this section. And being compassionate often requires being uncomfortable. From your comfort zone, you cannot stand by another in suffering. That is hard to do, you guys. Somebody here could be really suffering and feeling like, this could be somebody in your life, and this could also be you, There's a need for compassion here and understanding. It could be very uncomfortable to watch somebody in pain and not be able to help, not be able to make it go away, not be able to fix it, not be able to go back and change things. There's so much, and this could be on you, on a whole situation. I can't go back and change this. I can't take this back. I can't. Just sit with those feelings, as uncomfortable as they are, and understand that it's something's being balanced out here. Okay, something needs to be balanced out here with compassion. Why would one sit through a pain that isn't theirs? Oh, this is what I was feeling. It's like this nurturing some pain, or something that's not even, it may not be yours. You may have rose. You may be standing high on the hill, lighten with your spirit, holding your match. And somebody here needs that nurturing, and needs that compassion, and needs to come out to release their own burdens. And you could just be a real listening ear if you allow yourself that, to balance something out, that Father of Cups and that Six of Pentacles. Okay, so this is very important, especially for Cancer, okay, because there's a stubbornness once you've been kind of I want to say, you shelter yourself, you can become really rigid and hard, hard exterior but soft inside. But it's like, no, I'm not letting anything get to my softness. I'm not letting anything get to what I've worked for, and I've worked hard for, because it is hard. It's hard to go through a lot of things, but it's just as hard for others too. So remembering that, and being compassionate and empathic about that, you guys. This is really nice. And it says the manatee can move through both fresh and salt water. That tells me there might be some salty energy, some rough, stormy energy around you right now that you need to kind of hunker down for. Okay, if this is your reading and this is resonating, you may need to really tap into that compassionate place for yourself if there's saltiness thrown at you, or even freshness, and just really just observe and know where you're at. And there is a centeredness, there is a a conviction here. You do have this feeling of, hey, I'm okay, and it doesn't matter what's all going on around me, or who's throwing what at me. I'm standing here with my candle lit. I am aware. I am awake. I am understanding what's happening here. So really tapping into that place that understands there's a process happening here, and I am getting that, you guys. It says you two are being called to adapt compassionately to emotional situations. Some things could get emotional, or are in a very emotional place right now, and this can inspire others, and you could be being inspired also by this emotional situation. The manatee is a sign that you may be in or moving into murky waters, like unknown, maybe some darker, even shadowier, dirtier, stormier stuff, okay? But remember, the water settles, the dust settles. It always settles, you guys. Don't kick more dirt up or dust up. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. You two are being called to adapt compassionately to emotional situations. The manatee is a sign that you may be in or moving into murky waters. Whether it is yourself or another, proceed with love and empathy. Sitting next to a crying friend, for instance, can be difficult. We don't want to see someone else hurt. It's much easier to brush past the pain and change the subject. But sitting in compassion is a symbiotic process. In being there for another, you are showing up for yourself most of all, because you've needed that. Even if you feel like there's times when you didn't get it, be there right now for those in your life that need it, and be the inspiration. Be inspired to move forward with your heart, you guys, and with compassion. Don't try to disregard everybody's process because we may have felt alone during ours, or we may have felt lack of comfort or compassion. We still need to bring our light forward, even if we felt like it wasn't shined on us, or it doesn't matter. This is where that cardinal energy comes in, that leadership energy, taking charge of this energy. And it is a very, very, it feels martyry. It does. It feels like, you want me to be compassionate when I feel like there was no compassion for me. It doesn't matter. We know what's right. We know compassion is needed. We know people are healing. We know there's pain. You may have rose through the ashes. You may be at a point where you can stand with conviction right now in what you believe and how you feel, but there's others still going through this, and they need us to understand and be compassionate and not go back within ourselves. And I remember that, it was a reading I did about going back into the ocean. It was a Cancer reading, and it was about going in and facing it. I knew this energy was going to come through for this. It's like rescuing. It feels like a saving, a rescuing energy, but you can't save everybody. They got to do it themselves, but we can be there as a stable support, or a listening ear, a compassionate heart, maybe an inspiration, okay? So that's something I am getting here. We don't want to see someone else hurt. It's much easier to brush past the pain and change the subject. But sitting in compassion is a symbiotic process. I love that. And it's especially for yourself in your growth. Lost in thought is the next section. The greatest enemy of compassion is often our big brains, our egos, and we think it's just, this reminds me of another movie I was just watching last night. See, watching movies does pay. I don't watch a lot of movies, but the ones I do watch are hearty and good, I feel, for the soul. I don't watch trash, not anymore. But it was the George Foreman, the big George Foreman movie. It's on Netflix, and it really had this energy of this compassion coming through. And I even said something like, I can't remember, but that's a good movie, you guys, and it's ringing in right now as I'm doing this reading. Despite the amazing capacity of the human brain, our greatest enemy is often the power of our own mind. Thinking can become a dangerous and destructive force when not coupled with emotion. Yeah, our egos get in the way, because I was talking about like this big ego and fighting our shadows, and how we have to integrate, because he had to integrate his shadow, and because that's our strength too, you guys. It's where we come from that makes us strong also, but it can also really destroy us if we let it take away our emotional body, our emotional being, and it becomes all just head driven, not heart driven. So remember to keep your heart intact right now. The manatee's brain is much smaller than other animals their size, but that does not mean they aren't intelligent creatures. These sea cows have been known to tackle the same challenges as dolphins. The difference is that the manatee moves slower, and it's motivated by food. That's funny because in the indulgence, in the weak spot, we got indulgence, and that could be food, overeating, watching what we eat right now, watching what we're putting in our bodies. You guys, I'm getting that. It's crazy. Be motivated by what you're. And I was talking about like the movie, and it's because once I had started going through this more conscious, this awakening of my conscious being, I started realizing that everything I'm watching, everything I'm listening to, the music, the movies, everything is influencing my spirit, my energy. Everything influences you. And that's why it's hard to sit through somebody else's pains and heartaches and darkness, because it influences us, especially if you're an empath, especially if you're feeling all that. But it's very, very important to realize the food, the thoughts, the things you're watching, the things you're paying mind to are feeding your energetic body. That's coming through too. The manatee's brain is much smaller than other animals. Oh, I read that. The difference is that the manatee moves slower and isn't motivated by food. Interesting. So it knows, and that's so the indulgence, the food. Okay, so this could be being sidetracked or pulled into a distraction, okay? That just makes you feel like that temporary fix. The manatee doesn't need that. It has long sustaining energy, probably from it's kind of a flubbery animal, but it has a reserve. And the reserve, that's what this also the Seven of Wands is, like that spiritual reserve, and holding on to that, holding that in spite of what is coming at you, trying to persuade you, trying to change you, trying to move you in a different direction, maybe trying to get you to ignore or indulge or withdraw from something. It says the manatee tells you to quiet your mind and tap into the rest of your senses. The compassion required in your life will thrive best when it isn't strained through a sieve of reason. You know, this is all heart energy. Trust what your heart is telling you. Right now, you will thrive most when you're doing doing for others without expecting anything in return. And that's what I was getting, you guys. We can't hold the past, hold the grudges, or expect anything in return. We're doing this from our heart. We're doing this from a place of healing, not only from a place of healing ourselves, but also, and recognize that we can do a lot of good in the world too, not just destruction and dismay and horrible things, but we can bring a lot of light and love into the spaces we're in and the places and the people. We can inspire others. We can be a part of the good stuff too. So that's what it's really about. It's not about getting anything in return, you guys. Even though our egos and our minds will say, I didn't have that, I didn't get that, so why should I give that? You know, that's some of the biggest, most hard things to step on, hard stones to step on. And once you stepped on them, you realize how much they hurt. And they've hurt others, and they've hurt you in your process and your growth and your life and your ability to be compassionate and show that kind of loving nature to others. I am getting that. Trust what your heart is telling you. Right now, you will thrive most when you're doing for others without expecting anything in return. The ecosystem is the human. The manatee's greatest threat is from industries, negligent human, boats, and human interference in their habitat has dramatically hindered their ability to thrive. Sometimes when we have our eye on something we want, we lose compassion. This is not done out of malice, but out of stress. Yeah, if you get stressed out, this isn't that weak spot. Don't overindulge, and don't go for something or buy something or eat something or indulge in something that's unhealthy. This is what I'm feeling with this weak spot here. To avoid feeling, you know, or to distract yourself from feeling what's there to help you become more compassionate. Compassion is an innate human quality. It is not and cannot be manufactured. You cannot buy it. You cannot. It's just there. It's just there, and you need to embrace what's there. That's what the manatee does, is embraces what they have. They don't seek something else to make them happy. They know they have something that can help make them happy and make others happy. That compassion, that love, that understanding. That's wonderful. I love that. If you have strayed from compassionate center, try to see it as an opportunity to reset instead of as an obstacle. I don't go by the rule book. I lead from the heart, not the head. Diana, Princess of Wales, was her quote. I love that. All right, let's go to the hockey, guys. Oh, I talked a little long about that card, but that's the center, so that's really important. The hawk is messages, you guys. This is what's coming in here. Have you seen something, heard something, or felt something that struck you as important, but you haven't quite pinpointed why? Maybe you had a dream, saw an animal that caught your eye, or noticed a recurring number. Whatever it is, if something grabs you, notice, reflect on it. Notice and reflect on it. The hawk is known around the world for its loud screech. This bird screeches for many reasons, but most often it cries out to communicate where they are and what they want. The hawk screeches out to you when there is something that is trying to come through to you. Pay attention and light bulb may go off. Something is coming through, and it may even come through like a process of showing compassion towards a situation or somebody, something in your life that needs that extra compassion and love, and something could be really trying to come through this message. It's in the screeches, you know, the hawk's like really loud, obnoxious, you can't miss it. It could be even obnoxious energy that you're dealing with that you want to avoid or drown out or neglect, you know, when it's saying pay attention and be mindful of those cries right now. It could be trying to tell you something and lead you into something that is it's trying to come through to you. Something's trying to come through to you. A light bulb may go off. Tearing into it. The hawk doesn't provide its prey a swift death. These birds are known for subduing their catch with large talons and slowly plucking and tearing into their meal. Know what is coming before you. Are in its clutches. Know what is coming before you. Are in its clutches. Stay on top of signs being sent to you, as well as the messages you are sending to others. There could be some real... This could feel really challenging. And you could also become very challenged and become challenging yourself and become defensive maybe even and not compassionate. And then it's just a whole nother mess, you guys. So at least be that mature, like that King of Cups energy to help balance something out here, because something may come in here that's challenging. You know, that's what I'm feeling. Know what is coming before you are in its clutches. Stay on top of signs being sent to you, as well as the messages you are sending to others. Are you unnecessarily subduing your prey? So not making unnecessary stabs, pokes. Don't stoop to lower levels. I do get that with that. Don't drag something out. Is there a message you're trying to send to someone, but you aren't as direct as you could be? That is this too. Standing your ground, having strong boundaries, and saying, no, you're not going to take my shine. You're not. I will listen, but you're not going to make me feel less than I am. You know, there is a feeling here of, you know, and when we're dealing with other people's shadows or their healing process, and we're trying to nurture that mom energy. I'm a mom, you guys, so moms catch it, dude. Like, we can't do anything right. It feels like sometimes, like, that Empress energy is strong, and it has to be, because it allows for growth of others, even if nobody really kind of pays attention to where they're at, like in the, like, that place is a place where it is allowed, you know, like that's the value of being the Empress and being in that energy, that Empress energy. It's that allowance for others to express themselves as they are, to go through their process as they are, and not clip them short right away and take it, like rip out the weed, because it's not a weed, you guys. It's a process, and it's becoming something beautiful, and we have to remember that. Okay, as Cancers, it's very important. It's part of our energy, if that makes sense. When we refrain from being transparent with others, we are still sending subtle, indirect messages. So being very front forward about any messages or communication right now, and not, because you're still holding that energy and you're still sending messages. Okay, so we are always saying what we are thinking. If we don't use words, we default to other methods. So we can result to overindulgence. We can result to defensiveness. We can result to taking the lower road, maybe becoming angry because we haven't expressed ourselves authentically. We haven't stood our ground, maybe. So this is also about standing that ground, but with control and conviction and balance. Don't be unbalanced about it, and allow an equal give and take here if this is a conversation or something. Balance. Message received. Oh, it says, instead of conveying vague signals, tear into what's on your mind. Say what you want to say. Message received. This is the next section. The hawk sees color better than we do. Their sharp vision lets them hone in on prey. They are assigned to you to use all your instincts and open your eyes to see the whole spectrum. What messages are others sending to you? Sending a message isn't the same as communicating. Messages are sent with specific goals and a recipient in mind. It is more than just what someone says. Messages are found in how someone says something, their body language, and their overall actions. There's something you really need to pay attention to here. Is somebody saying something that's not matching up to their actions? And it feels like there is like it could be not reciprocated. So keep that in mind. This could be what's the light bulb that's kind of coming in for you. Of course, I hope it's not that, because that always sucks and it never feels good. But there's a process happening here, and it doesn't mean these are anybody here. It's just a process, and it's something to be mindful of, to make sure you're in alignment with your words and others are also theirs. Or is there a message in the energy? Or, are you seeing one thing but feeling another? Because of messages, it's like, yeah, it's very interesting. You can send messages without saying directly, but this is saying say it directly. Say, I tend to do this too. Like, I'll say something like, well, that's messed up. And, I know, like, the person in the room did that messed up thing. Or, it's easy to kind of take out our frustrations when we see something that triggers something in us. Just say it, and but we don't know, like, the process. There's something trying to happen here. Somebody's trying to release a burden. Somebody's trying to lighten their load, and you may be on the other side of this. Either way, you're on one or the other, and there has to be some balance here and some compassion. So, sometimes we got to be that cardinal energy, that leader energy. Like I said, that is the Cancer energy. It's cardinal, it's leader, it's taking that role. Messages are found in how someone says something, their body language or overall actions. Are someone's words not matching up with the messages they are sending to you? Consider that your actions and words are sending mixed messages to others. So don't send mixed messages. Say what you need to say. Do it with compassion. Do it with understanding and balance, and mature, emotionally mature. The Father of Cups can be very emotionally manipulative. Can be very not a good listener, or not really paying mind to its interesting, or get too involved with, like, taking everything like personally. When a mature, in balance King of Cups or Father of Cups, Father of Water, knows he's still inside. It doesn't mean he's not feeling anything. It doesn't mean he's not experiencing. He hasn't experienced it. He's just not in it. He's not experiencing it in that moment. So it doesn't trigger, like, unhealthy emotions, unhealthy escape mechanisms. He understands emotions do that, and they have. He hasn't became the king for nothing. He's learned that these emotional responses, even to others, to the storm around him, are just that, a storm around him. And he needs to be still and mindful of that everything is going through its process. This is nature. This is a very, very good message, you guys. So we got the bat. The messages are read from a place of intuition. We can decipher them with logic. We can't decipher them with logic alone. They can leave us feeling a certain way that we can't describe with objective reason. This pray tells you that your intuition is a critical component of reading the messages in your life at this time. There's something trying to come through to you at this time. You're going to have to pay really mindful attention to actions and words and what's going on around you right now. The squirrel. When our energy becomes sporadic, we lose the ability to focus on the big moments. If we lack focus, we look past parts we needed to see. Like talking during a movie. You may have missed the part you were asking about while talking. Practice your focus so that you don't miss messages popping up around you. Give me a sign, hit me baby one more time. Britney Spears is the quote for that card. We're going to go ahead and go over here to the inspiration, the blue whale. And see, this is step one, you guys. The blue whale. All right, so the blue whale is the inspiration. All right, soak it up. Who or what inspires you? The blue whale is a sign that you could use a little motivation. Instead of viewing this moment as a creative block or an obstacle, see it as an exciting opportunity to become more compassionate, to shine your light a little more, maybe, to be a stronger guide or a stronger, stable person through this, okay? If you can alter your perspective, you will find that there is no short of inspiration being passed around our wonderful world for you to soak up. The movement The movement of materials in and out of the sea creature's vast internal ecosystem is a beautiful representation of the way we filter inspiration. It goes through us, and it comes out, and we hold on to what inspires us, and we release what doesn't. So there's going to be inspiring good things out of this. We got to hold on to what the process, the healing process, or the release process, the releasing burdens process, the good stuff, that's what I'm getting. The blue whale scoops up large amounts of krill as it travels through the ocean, filtering excess water. Excess water, that's the emotions, that's the deep psyche stuff, that's the messages that maybe aren't ones to hang on to because they're a process for somebody else. That King of Cups and the storm, the water. Water, it filters excess water through the bristles of their jaw. Don't just float along. Filter the waters you are gliding through and appreciate every small piece of inspiration in your wake. It all adds up. So something good, there could be a lot of excess. There could be a lot more said or a lot more coming through. Just hold on to what's inspiring to you. Hold on to what feels like, yes, this is happening. Something good is happening here. Even if it's just like, there's something good in this, and it's holding on to that and allowing the excess to flow by. Clear the pipes. While the blue whale takes food in through their mouth, they breathe out through their blowhole. This releases gas and bacteria as they rise to the water's surface. This process reminds us that release is just as important as intake. Yeah, so there could be something really needing to be released here through this process. You could be really doing this yourself or somebody around you, you guys. I am getting the both message here. And it's just allowing this process. It feels like a big process, a cleaning process, a clearing process. Perhaps it isn't that you aren't inspired. This process reminds us to release is as important as what we take in. To release is just as important as what we take in. And that's for everybody, others and ourselves. When we create healthy outlets for ourselves and clear the pipes, we release pressure and make room to take in more around us. Consider that you are not lacking anything, but just require a moment of exhale. How do you let off steam when pressure builds? In the weak spot here, let's be reminded of indulgence. This is a crutchy energy, doing something healthy, not indulging, not shopping, not spending money, not doing unhealthy things for our bodies, our minds, our souls, and really just letting all that excess kind of flow through, cleaning those pipes out, clearing those pipes, exhaling the negative, holding on to the positive. Breathe and release is the next section. And it's the important thing is that you get your ideas out of your head and into the world without worrying about how perfectly they are. We can get so excited about what inspires us that we zoom in a little too far and forget the details can always be refined later. This is what I was feeling about going all in. You could be really trying to work on clearing something up here, releasing burdens, maybe helping somebody, maybe nurturing something. And it's like, you can't, and that goes into a movie. It doesn't happen overnight. It's about the process. It's about the journey. It really is, you guys. You can work on the details later. But we get so excited. We think, oh, it was the George Foreman movie I was just watching, because he opens a youth center in Texas. And and the reason that happens is because a grandmother had come up to him and said, my grandson is struggling. He's having issues. And George Foreman's like, I don't fight anymore. And she's like, well, you train him. And he's like, no, because this is when he's chose to be a priest. And he's sore off fighting. He swore he wasn't going to fight. Then he sees the kid on the news a week later or something, and he's like, I should. And I was talking about how that one moment, if he would have realized he was mentoring instead of fighting, it could have changed the whole. Then his shop. It's a long story. I won't give away the whole movie, you guys. But the whole thing is, it just was like the kid was in a different place than he was. He was in. He goes. He reminds me of me when I was a kid, and when he's talking to the grandma, what he doesn't realize there is he's so high in the clouds. He's so on his heel. He's in that Seven of Wands energy. He has victory. He's already had the victory. He's standing at the top of the hill going, I don't mess with any of this stuff. anymore. It brings me down, you know. It takes me into my shadows. It takes me into the dark place but this is where integration comes in, you guys. So that being said, that's what it's reminding me of, is the kid is in a different process than him. But you have to realize people are in a different process. And you may be really excited and be like, hey, this should just just sign them up for, just get in the choir right away. Like there isn't a process to coming to the choir or even just walking in the building, just getting there step by step. There's something here happening step by step. And that's what's important to see right now when we create. The important thing is when you get your ideas out of your head and into the world without worrying about how perfectly they are. We get excited. Try journaling or talking to a friend. Anything that allows you to expand creative energy is helpful. It could be something as simple as creating a schedule or organizing your closet. No matter what it is, this larger-than-life creature points out the enormous potential that is available to you at this moment. When you focus on the cycle of breathe and release in your life, you will see inspiration that floats past you every day. Ecosystem is the human. Again, the word of caution. It is no coincidence that the only predator of the blue whale is us, the destructive human. This always tells me like you're your worst enemy with this energy. We are our own greatest enemy. Our barrier to discovering our creating inspiration is rarely anything but self-imposed. It's always self-imposed when we create a barrier between what we can do to inspire and be inspired. It's what we allow into our perception. It's what we allow ourselves to see and understand in the moment. While sometimes we require energetic downtime, if you begin to feel that things are growing a bit stale, try something new. Mix things up and embrace the waters you float through. It's not something out of your reach. You are within it. You are a part of it. Moving through it with presence could bring in the tide of inspiration. This is this is step one. It's really being in this flow and knowing, kind of going with this, the inspiration flowing with what's calling to you as you observe and go through this energy. Okay, you guys? Your battles inspired me. Not the obvious material battles, but those that were fought and won behind your forehead. Gosh, you guys got to watch that movie, the George Foreman movie. That feels a lot in alignment with this. Let's go over here to curiosity. And this is the hedgehog. This is the strength here, okay? Stop, drop, and roll. There is no drive like unrelenting curiosity. If you're wondering what else is out there, it may be time to awaken your senses. What feeds your flame of curiosity? The hedgehog is notorious for squeezing its body into tiny spiky ball when nervous or frightened. This guide says that you may need to unclench a tight hold and open up to what waits outside. Also, Gemini kind of had this energy too about getting outside their comfort zone to expand their energy and shine a little more. No matter what the environment is doing around you, know that you are holding your place in it, okay? Holding that place, the place. You may not have noticed that you have rolled yourself up into a spiky mound. And that could be it too, resisting that compassion or being kind of rough around the edges to kind of protect yourself. In yoga or meditation, we often find that we didn't realize our jaw was clenched and our shoulders were tight until we were told to release, unroll, and you will be more receptive to the world around you. There's something really good happening around you, but you may resist it because it's emotional. And it's saying to really be mindful of these emotions and stuff that you can really be inspired by right now. Playing defense. And that's what I was getting to with that Seven of Wands, you guys. While the hedgehog's instinct to ball up is a passive response to fear. And it's a passive response to fear. Their quills act as an act of defense. You may be unknowingly warding off strange and unknown. As an instinct, it's hard to unlearn the reaction to use our quills to push away what scares us. Yes, take time now to cultivate your curiosity. The hedgehog also uses its quills as a shock defense mechanism. Okay, these quills make it easy for them to withstand a tumble. So they get the quills up or they harden themselves up because they're afraid. They're afraid of what's going to happen. They're afraid of, there's a feeling of being tough. Like, it's kind of like, I kind of picture like when like a lot of people will disengage or disconnect from people, especially the elderly and stuff, which is really sad because they're afraid of losing somebody they're close to, but you're already close to it. That's the thing, you're already there, you're already in it. You can try to disengage, but then you're just going to feel like crap later because you weren't there. And it's because you're afraid of getting your feelings hurt, or you're afraid of being in the mix of like something that's uncomfortable. That's what I'm feeling. Take risks and know that if you venture outside your comfort zone and fall, you can roll over and try again. What have you always wondered about or thought sounded strange and exciting? Allow yourself to get carried away by the incessant wonder of the unknown. Strange and unusual. Go beyond submitting to the weird. Seek it out. The hedgehog participates in an unusual behavior called self-anointing. And we aren't quite sure why. When the hedgehog finds something that provokes its curiosity, it will lick it, creating a foamy substance that they will bathe in and spread over their bodies. The strange part is that the hedgehog is attracted to noxious substances like chemicals. Wow. Like this strange little animal, surround yourself with what you don't understand. Don't box in your curiosity. Explore what you find strange, and don't be afraid to make curious choices that feel right to you. Yeah, it's interesting. So it's attracted to this noxious substances, like substances that are just, chemicals and stuff that could be maybe even bad for it. Like those shadows, or like those emotions that could send it into, but it like rolls around and it's like, okay. I feel this with cancer too. I do feel this with cancer. I just like, more water, more mud, let's clean this up. It's just like this really like submersive energy, okay? I'm getting that, submersing. The ecosystem is the scarab. Let your curiosity fuel your creativity. When our interest is sparked by what surrounds us, our urge to create and play comes naturally. It is possible that if your creativity is stagnant, you need to retrain your mind's eye to be curious and inquiring. Don't accept the status quo. Ask questions, peel back layers, and seek out what sparks your interest. The scorpion. Passion is yet, and this was also an Aries reading, so you may have Aries in your chart also. Passion, or you may be dealing with an Aries. Passion is yet another tool that makes us curious. And passion was right in the center of that reading. What in your life are you passionate about? Notice how the fervor pushes your need to know, to experience, and to understand. This becomes a template. What if you engaged with the rest of your life the way you do with what you're passionate about? Putting that passion and that effort towards what it is you truly desire. What I have is a malevolent curiosity. Oh, David Bowie, a malevolent curiosity. And we're going to go ahead and go to in this indulgence, the weak spot, you guys, the pig. Okay. I always get that too with, there's a video, I forget whose video that is, but there's a pig man in a pig mask sitting on a bench, and it's about really loving those while they're here before they pass, because they're not always going to be here. I might try to find that. I posted it under, I think, one of the videos in the last round, and it's coming in again. Treat yourself, it says. Did you know that the pig likes to get massages, cuddle, and even listen to music? The pig has a bad rep, but these animals just like to indulge in the relaxing things in life. Don't relax too much. I feel like this is being a weak spot. You might be too relaxed about something, or maybe not fully embracing a moment or a situation in your life, just like we do. Indulgence occurs when you give yourself permission to enjoy life's pleasures. The pig indicates that you need to relax and pamper yourself. What does pampering mean to you? It could mean treating yourself to a nice meal, going on a hike through nature. I love doing that, or reading a book by the fire. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters that you take time out of your schedule once in a while to focus on you. And you may be needing to do this also, just finding that balance though. Okay, you guys? Not, I'm not trying to pick on anybody here, but there is work we are working on and doing in our lives, and it's important stuff. But that's what I was feeling like, diving all in, taking a step back, slowing down. Maybe it is time to relax a little and just pay attention to the environment and stop doing. This has kind of been a message through the reading so far too, for everybody. It says, try to not see indulgence as selfish or lavish. If we deprive ourselves far too long, we won't be happy, productive, or energetic. Healthy levels of indulgence now and then allows us to unwind, and when we aren't wound up so tightly, we make room to grow. And then it says, don't sweat it. The pig also tells you not to sweat the small stuff. You may be sweating every little detail, every little thing. And like the well, let it go through. Hold on to, there's a lot of excess. Don't hold on to the excess. And this could literally mean in your life too, getting rid of excess. Indulge in the idea that not everything is worth your concern. The pig can't sweat, or at least not well. As a result, it doesn't do so well in extreme climates. This card can show up in your reading when you are due for a spa day because your day-to-day life is filled with stress and anxiety. What is overwhelming you and leading to the desire to cut loose? At some point, a stiff cocktail and a bubble bath won't be an adequate band-aid for an unhappy routine. If you find yourself needing to let off steam every night, consider that you may need to make some adjustments to reduce stress permanently. Find enjoyment in your everyday life so that indulgence is a rare treat instead of a necessary reinforcement against dissatisfaction, something that temporary fix trying to keep you happy from moment to moment instead of that long-term, harder work of really making something better long-term. If taken too far, this is overeating. If taken too far, the pig can warn of pitfalls and overindulging. This animal is known to be able to eat almost anything from animals to plants, to even garbage. If they're hungry, anything is fair game. Be sure that you aren't dining on just anything because you are spiritually starved. If you continue to deprive yourself and push past your limits, over time, you run the risk of indulging in things like overeating, laziness, and negative thoughts. What makes indulgences meaningful is its careful incorporation into our lives. The giant chocolate bar is a treat only when it is something you don't usually have. Take a proactive approach and keep your life in balance to avoid tarnishing your indulgences by taking them to the extreme. The ecosystem is the crocodile, which is the predator. This predator warns of exactly what can cause us to overindulge, repressing thoughts, ideas, emotions, and intentions. And I was getting that with the Seven of Wands also as being spoken, expression. That's been a thing through the readings too. It is breeding ground for developing unhealthy habits. When you are repressing emotions, thoughts, ideas, and intentions, it is the breeding ground for developing unhealthy habits. Don't let emotional buildup lead to indulging in negative behaviors. The pack, and this is like the wolf pack. One way to treat yourself is to lean into your tribe. Indulge in and appreciate those around you who are there to support you. Let's face it, a nice creamy chocolate cake does a lot for a lot of people. It does for me. Audrey Hepburn said that. All right, you guys. Very, very nice. Very strong reading coming through, saying to watch the emotions right now. Not to run away from emotions, overindulge, but to embrace. If you need to rest, take care of yourself. You may not be resting. You may not be taking care of yourself. That is in the weak spots. So that's something that needs to be looked at, is this indulgence energy. Let's get an animal card real quick, guys. The elk. Also, it's a birth energy. Nice. Okay, let's read that elk. And this is reminding me of that Father of Pentacles, too, which was there with the Ten of Wands, the releasing the burdens and the stability. And, you know, elks are, here we go, stable, resilient, headstrong, and the Father. It is that Father of Pentacles energy coming through again. Being stable, resilient, headstrong. This could be stubbornness. This could be being more structured, but it's just saying go with the flow. So let's read this. The great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make damn good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. That's beautiful, Cancer. This is a stable energy. This is about really being kind, compassionate, consistent, stable, even in rough waters, even with those around you. This is really leaning into that deep spiritual place that you don't need to be hungry for or fulfill with other outer things. And really following what inspires you and really lights you up inside. When in balance, it's supportive, kind, and consistent. And when out of balance, it's pretentious, high, and mighty. Yes, like that. I was talking about the way, like, I'm not going to dabble with these feelings or this darkness because I'm through it and I'm past it. And I am guilty of this. I've been through this in my process, you guys. And I've had really been humbled with how much I'm like, I took it for granted, you know. This is a process. It's taken me years and years and years, and it's taking everybody time. So we have to be understanding and compassionate with this process as everybody's going through it, and it's a struggle. So just because you're on the other end of the tunnel doesn't mean everybody is, and we are there as helpers and family and tribe, you guys, and we're trying to get each other through this. And it's humbling, okay? To bring into balance, eat and drink more consciously. Once again, coming in, you guys, be mindful of what you're putting in your body right now, Cancers, or anybody that this is resonating for. I know as a Cancer sun myself, and overindulgence has been a real problem in my life. There's a big difference between treating yourself and overindulging and escapism, okay? And eating healthy. You know, I love sweets. I love sugar, you guys. Like, ugh. As I was recovering, and I'm recovering as always, but it's like I make jokes, and it's not funny, but it kind of is. I say, I wasn't an alcoholic. I was just addicted to the sugar. It's just one of those things, you guys, and not making jokes about any kind of addiction or crutch, but yes, be mindful of what you're putting in your body. Drink a lot of water. Cleanse that pipe hole. Clean the pipe hole. Clean the pipe hole. I am getting that, you guys. So let's go ahead and get a white light oracle, you guys. And then that will wrap up your reading. This is a beautiful message, you guys. It's about that compassion. I'm loving it. Beautiful, beautiful message. It also can be challenging, but that's okay. We are tough human beings, you guys, everybody, and we can do it. We can be that. We can be that for ourselves and others in our lives. That's nice. Wow, are we going to get one of these, Spirit? White light oracle. I'm going to read the short version of this card, so just hang in there for a minute, guys. I know you've already hung in, so thank you. You guys, these are longer, but this energy, it deserves its time, you guys. These messages deserve their time. Oh, I love this card. Love this. Oh, isn't that beautiful, you guys? Devara, I don't know how I'm pronouncing that right, but Devara Patra. I'm going to read that, you guys, number 38. Beautiful. I will read the short version. This is a beautiful book, though, and a beautiful deck if you ever get a chance to get it. It's a real light working deck. Out of confusion, a clear and progressive pathway is opening for you. It is an auspicious time. It really matters what you do right now. That's what auspicious means, you guys. It could go either way. But really great things could come out of this with that compassionate energy. It's time to give generously of yourself to others, enriching the quality of your connections, expressing spiritual blessings of goodwill and encouragement from your heart. A powerful blessing is entering your world. A prayer is now being answered in a beautiful way. Spirit gives freely and generously of all good things, and the task of humanity is to learn how to receive. Yeah, that cup, that love, that sunshine, that optimism, that, oh, it's beautiful. I love this energy. But it's going to require that compassionate understanding, you guys, and that balance. And yeah, the key to receiving is an open, surrendered, generous, and trusting heart. Trust in the process right now. The Holy Grail is a sacred chalice, and it is powerful, living, regenerative, and deeply healing symbol of hope and blessings. Okay? Oh, I love that. It's opening a portal, a doorway, or even a means or method. This Oracle of Devara Patra indicates the way for your deepest fulfillment is via the receptive faculty of the sacred feminine. Having that feminine nature, that Empress energy. We really need to work on that Empress energy, that nurturing, that allowing. I'm hearing it over and over and over again. The feminine way is organic. You know, it's natural. It's creative, responsive, spontaneous, and effective. It is not constrained by our human perceptions of what is or is not possible. It is to honor the and empower the sacred feminine genius in our lives requires a considerable shift away from the mainstream conditioning and into spiritual surrender. Allowing her method rather than blocking her loving creativity in our lives entails the movement from head to heart. I love that. This means you will not necessarily understand how a situation will work out, yet you'll feel inner guidance to proceed in a particular way. Your inner guidance will often seem to disregard the otherwise convincing realities of the outer world. That energy of being faced with something that looks really challenging and maybe something you don't want to be a part of, but there's something really beautiful here, you guys. That inner wisdom has allegiance to a deeper truth than appearances can convey, because this is spiritual growth, this is spiritual transformation going on around you too. You may wonder at times if you're crazy to follow an internal guidance system so at odds with the way the majority of people move about in this world. Yet you know Yet you will know in the depths of your being that your inner guidance is true and wise. As you invert your priorities from ego to soul, you'll invert your locus of orientation from head to heart. From outer to inner reality, you will trust what your heart knows, whether or not it makes sense to your logical mind, or to anyone else's for that matter. This oracle foretells a happy, heartfelt manifestation, a true blessing coming to life. Beautiful reading, you guys. I hope that helps somebody. And as always, I appreciate you guys coming and watching your reading. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos. I know they're long, but if you've been with my channel, you do know I do longer readings. But I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.